Confused me.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the GBHL YouTube channel. You're here with your host GBHL Jamie.
And still not GBHL James.
Not GBHL James. Unfortunately, James and I recorded a large battle report with Ian Spiller over the... Not unfortunately. Fortunately, we recorded a large battle report with Ian Spiller over the weekend, so we weren't able to record Speak Friend Question, so I've got not GBHL James in as a replacement for him. So, we'll kick off. It's one good riddance. He says, thanks for your advice. Yes, I was wrong. The tournament is a 700-point one for Nova in America. I'm not planning on dropping the shade on the field though. What do you think is a healthy amount of might for 700 points? I'm looking forward to meeting you in Nova. Go Team Britain from Constantine. So a good amount of might for 700 points.
Okay, so we've got a shade in there. As you know,
he's not taking the shade.
He's not taking the shade, okay.
Yeah, it was a Goblin army that he's taken.
Goblin army without a shade? I don't know how to use those.
I don't know.
Goblin army without a shade.
Who knows?
I guess in a Goblin army, you can get a fair amount of might in fairly cheap. You've got Groblog and Druzag, who can, sorry, not Druzag, Durbers, who can chuck in
6.
Well, I mean, mention Druzag, he's 2 right there.
I think he had Druzag in the list. I think it was Druzag with like a bunch of Warg, Spiders and Bats. And then
Good old Flying
Circus. And then just generic warbands. I think it was Groblog, and then Shaman with Warband, and bulked up on numbers, thinking about 60 or 70 models.
That's decent. I mean, are we talking like Gundabad's or regular Goblins?
Regular Goblins.
Okay.
There might have been some Gundabad's, but you didn't have very many.
I think if you don't have as many Goblins, if you don't have Gundabad's or you don't have Prowlers and you just go for normal Goblins, I think you need a little bit more might just to be able to have that extra punch with your heroes, because your basic foot troops don't have that, and because you can't take a charge as well. I mean, say for even something like how basic riders at Rohan, they're running in, they're knocking down, wounding on 5s, compared to against something like Black Shields where
it's 6s,
and you can take that battery.
You can take that 1 wound with your 5 up. You've got a decent chance of it. Whereas you can take 2 wounds potentially, and your 5 up's less valuable.
So I think if there's room in there to maybe drop a shaman, I'd still always try and take 2 shamans and Groblog, because I think that keeps you fairly safely covered. If you can get Durbers in there as well, get that 3 might, and also if you do break, that means you've got a shaman
and the
boosting him.
12 inches.
You potentially, you potentially got essentially
6, 12, 20, 36.
Because it's where you finish your move. You can potentially spread out and get a massive area of the battlefield to cover. It's very useful.
So average point might in 700 points for my Wood Elf force, I'd be looking to take at least 12, maybe a bit more.
700 points. I think
as a standard, I think my age old for Escape from Legions Middle Earth was at least 1 per 100 points, which I think can still.
I think that's probably a decent guide. I think roughly around the kind of like the 8-9 might as a minimum. I think is probably a good idea, given that these days you're forced to take those extra heroes.
Definitely. Cool. So we're on to the next one. We got Shane Shaw 100.
Hi guys, I'm in the process of stripping and repainting my Isengard army. Discovered that I have a lot of scouts and have been inspired to maybe collect a 600 point scout army. Would you recommend pure scouts, or would adding Warg Riders improve them? Cheers as always. Scouts and Warg Riders.
Scouts and Warg Riders.
I guess, should we talk about the scout side of it first?
Yeah,
that's an interesting side.
So scouts, they're not obviously the most competitive of the Uruk-hai list.
No, I think
but what you get is they are very cheap, so you can get quite a lot of them. Obviously with Mahur going very fast. Strength 4 is nice and Fight 4 is nice, especially for evil. So keeping them all together as a single force, I think it could do with the Warg Riders.
I think I think having that extra little bit of range. I mean, you can say that kind of Mahur gives you that movement boost, but having that extra bit of mobility that you can then push with, say, heroic marches and things like that, because they then benefit from the extra 5 inches of move. For scenarios like, I guess your scout scenario and things like reconnoitre as well, really, really valuable to have that extra bit of movement. But I wouldn't underestimate either the idea of just having lone wargs. Fel wargs,
really, fantastic.
Really include.
And they sort of fit with that scout theme as well, fel wargs. Just, feral wargs going ahead of the pack.
Yes, and
let your scouts arrive where they should do.
Much underrated ability of your fel warg is your ability to charge around corners. It's a great way of surprising people with, because so few people expect that.
Like they'll have a wizard stood around the corner and suddenly fel warg will charge. It's like, oh god, even one more against a wizard, that's a scary prospect.
And at worst case you're holding them up for a turn. Best case you might take a fate, a wound, even some might.
Or the horse.
Or the horse if they're mounted.
Yeah. Cool. So next up we got Pascal Wibb. Wibber. It says, hey, what do you think of a Rohan army with many throwing spears? I'm not sure they are worth it with the move and shoot penalty from Greets.
Now this is an interesting one. I really like the imagery of Rohirrim on foot with throwing spears. It's very much kind of like the Roman legions of old, with the pilum, kind of throwing them, kind of launching them into the air as their enemy charges in, or
running away,
and then running away.
Yeah.
But you make a really valid point about moving and shooting. It does make a big dent in their effectiveness.
I actually took an all throwing spear army to a 350 point tournament, I think it was, or 500 point tournament, or 400 to one of the long bottom ones. To
some points tournament.
Some points tournament, and they played 5 games, won 2, lost 3. The throwing spears, they're a little bit overrated. I mean, the 8 inches made them much better because then when you lose the heroic move, you can't be charged.
Yes.
But because you have to constantly keep moving, and eventually you will run out of board, the 5+ is such a negative. I think the 60 points could have been better spent elsewhere.
Well, that's 5 more guys if they're upgraded to.
Well, this is all infantry, but yeah.
Helmingas
or something.
Yeah. I were they Helmingas in your army?
No, just basic.
I'd always rather spend those points on upgrade, taking Grimble and upgrading them to Helmingas because that strength 4 is invaluable.
Definitely. Cool. So next up we've got Alex Francis.
Hey guys, this is my first question on SFAQ, and while I won't bore you with an army list, I do have a couple of questions about model profiles. I'm thinking of building an old Mirkwood force with Thranduil, and was wondering if I should only give bowmen the Mirkwood Guard upgrade, or all Wood Elves and give them all throwing daggers. Would it be too costly? My second question is, are Sentinels worth this to 500 points level, and if so, how many should I take? This was a great video, thanks in advance.
Good. So, Mirkwood Guard upgrades 2 points, and a throw weapon is 2 points. So you're looking at 11 points. 4
points a model for each one you upgrade. In a 500 point force, you maybe getting 30 guys. That's 120 points.
100 points based on
well, it's not going to be 30 guys because you won't
have that many points. Yeah.
I think the point we were making about the Rohan throwing spears, same applies to these guys.
Even though your 2+ going to 3+, you're not getting the benefit of having 2+, which your bowmen would have, because they're probably going to be stationary until you reach the battle lines.
Yes.
So, I think for all the guys, definitely not.
Keep your specialists as specialists, and the rest of your army, I definitely look at, rather than investing in the throwing spears, these days I'd always go with the Elven Blades. Extra, having the 3 to 6 to win the combat, brilliant, and the flexibility of going two-handed as well is nice.
Yeah. And Sentinels in a 500 point force, I actually took 2 to the previous event.
I think
2, it depends on the army you're going for. I mean, if you're going with all the Mirkwood Guard upgrade, then you're probably not going to have the points to get these guys in. I think
they're a nice include.
They're a nice include. That for me, I was filling out points in my warbands when I included them. They weren't like, oh, got to get Sentinels in. They were definitely, I've got some points. I'll get Sentinels because they have a nice ability.
I think maybe if you can squeeze in 1 or 2, but I also would look at, and always look at, it's obviously slightly less themey, but the Guard of the Galadrim Court in that kind of army.
Yeah.
The ability to have a really big pokey spear which you can jab at people with at 5 value 6 is
5 value 6 is the
brilliant thing to have.
Like you beat heroes suddenly, you beat Fell Beasts.
So all of a sudden, any hero on Fell Beast, bar possibly the Knight of Umbar,
is at risk of charging in because they think, oh, I've got to be careful of these 5-6 guys on the ends of the line.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Steve Crow from the Northwest Hobbit campaign. He says, first and foremost, good luck at Nova. I know my GBHL buddies are going to obliterate those trash-talking Yankee Doodles. My question is, with the indie models being released for the profiles that Games Workshop never made, the Games Workshop never made models for, will they become an accepted addition to the models allowed at tourneys in the future? I know you can't answer for everyone, but what about your tourneys? The unreleased miniatures models are so good and fit the profiles to a T, and obviously there is no benefit to the player other than having an awesome looking army on the table. I'm all for these minis being used, as we won't get any more from Games Workshop, just trying to gauge the other people's opinions. So have you seen this on the Facebook group?
I've seen some cool, I think it's from unreleased miniatures, saw the, what is it?
The Fat Bismarck.
Fat Bismarck, that was it.
Fat Bismarck.
I was going to say Frederick the Great, but no, it's the wrong one.
Yeah, so Fat Bismarck. I think at the moment, whilst Games Workshop are still not actively supporting it, but whilst they're still pushing it in the stores, at least at our tournaments, we won't be allowing them. I know some tournaments definitely go by the rule of cool, and that's a cool model, it fits the theme. We won't have it. I think as time goes on, we'll become more lenient towards proxies and conversions, as newer players won't be able to access them. So speaking as a tournament organiser, for now I'd probably say we'd rather you have the proper model or the converted model from Games Workshop stuff. And for going on the channel, we could record and we want to put up their stuff, but in the future that may change because people just can't get them. That'll be from us.
It's an interesting idea though.
Yeah, definitely is. And I've seen they're releasing some like Corsair Reavers, Goblin Prowlers with shield and bow. As a collector and as a gamer, I'm thinking I've always wanted to use the Prowler with shield without converting, which will be very again cool to use it. So it is a conundrum, is what I'd say.
I've had prowlers and face masks and
Yeah.
scarves for years. Really easy with green stuff.
Yeah.
But I understand not everyone wants to go through that effort.
Yeah. Next up, we got Andreas, the Norwegian Viking.
Haha! I thought about commenting about the Jaffa cakes not being biscuits last time. I don't.
You missed that.
I missed a reference.
There was a really good question which we actually went on for a long time about because it was Lord of the Rings related anyway. Was what are your favourite biscuits? And I said Jaffa cakes, despite them not being a biscuit.
No, but aren't they for tax purposes or something?
They're a cake for tax purposes. Well, they are a cake in general because when they go stale, they go hard, and when a biscuit goes stale, it goes soft.
But I thought the whole point was that they were actually cakes, but they were biscuits for tax purposes.
No.
Or something like that.
They had to prove they were cakes because chocolate on a biscuit is a luxury item, but chocolate on a cake is allowed.
Ah,
so
I can see you're well versed in this topic.
Right. So if they were biscuits with chocolate, they'd have to pay more tax. So they proved they were a cake to get around paying more tax.
Well, okay.
So Andreas obviously knew this as well.
Right, okay, well, moving on from the Jaffa cakes. Went for Angmar for the second season of Battle Companies. We've decided to do more English content for our YouTube channel. And so more hobby vlogs from me and Joachim. That's how you say it, isn't it?
Joachim.
Are coming weekly. I'll be filming all 15 games I'll play in the Battle Companies and posting them. So if you have time, check out our channel. I'm not going to say a URL because that's ridiculous, but you can check it out in the comments.
Find the comments of the previous video, scroll down, find Andreas, and his channel is there.
And apparently Jamie was not so far off with his Viking speak. You'll all be glad to know.
Yeah, it was more German. Oh God.
Go on, do it.
Spielfuningen the Fellowship. I'd say it's more German than probably Scandinavian, but I'll live with that. Next up, we got Shen Barnes. He says, "Hey guys, I'm new to this well-known loop." So now he's in the loop, and we've answered his question. Yeah, now ask us a question. No, it's not Palante. That's more Palante. In the loop. So now we've answered his question. He has to ask us another question every single week, so that the show can keep going.
That makes sense.
Because if everyone stopped commenting after we answered their question, there would be no show.
That does make sense.
Yeah. So now he's in the loop.
Yes.
I was wondering, is it worth taking my mounted Tainted, into an Angmar army? I think it's such a cool model. Thank you for your time and great videos.
If you want to take the mounted Tainted, by all means, it's a great model. It's really cool. But don't necessarily expect
Wonders.
Competitive results.
Yeah, that's a fair way to put it. He is the worst of all the name ring wraiths.
It's such a cool model. It's such a cool theme from that point of idea of a truly corrupted individual that's taken that on from his original life to being lured in by Sauron. But the profile and the way it works in the game,
it's that one might, one fate. I think he's got one of the most powerful rules of the ring wraiths: the no stand fast, no heroics within 6 inches of him on both sides. However, it's that one might, one fate. That it's pure letdown.
It's almost as bad as the Dwemerleg. I mean, the Dwemerleg gets two fate but no might.
Yeah.
His ability is a bit more long range, a bit more powerful, and so perhaps you can get away with it a bit more. But it's the idea that you just go, well, somebody shoots him, and you go, if I roll a 2, this guy's dead. This guy's 100. That's 120 plus 130 if he's mounted off the board.
Just in one lucky shot.
Wait, so it's a 1 in 3 chance that you lose him straight away.
Oh,
and it's frustrating.
Yeah. Where have we gone? We just did Luke Davies, so now we're on.
Brad thy hipster.
I skipped someone. That was Shen Barnes.
Oh, Shen Barnes. No,
Luke Davies. Cool.
He was part of the loop many months ago, but he's now fully back into the hobby and rejoining.
Good man.
Excellent.
Stay in the loop.
I'm thinking of creating a Dol Guldur themed army. I was wondering if the Necromancer's option to upgrade orcs is worth it. Also, does this just apply to Mordor orcs, or can Moran and orcs benefit from this as well? Cheers, guys, keep up the good, great work. So, let's do the last one first, because that's a really easy one.
No, it's just Mordor orcs.
Just Mordor orcs.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
See, I have looked at this upgrade in the past, and
I mean, it's the +1 fight.
It takes them to fight 4, shoot 4.
That's it.
Yeah, to be a Dol Guldur orc.
Okay.
And you can also upgrade your captains to be fight 5 with a 4+ shoot value, and upgrade your shamans to then be Dol Guldur shamans who have the wither spell.
Yes, and that drops.
You drop transfix for it.
Yes.
Oh, it's an upgrade that I have ummed and ahed about, because obviously you got to take the necromancer to do it, so you're building your army around the necromancer.
Yes.
And it's like, do you go with this like elite backline that are fight 4 spear troops, and around in front lines you get your defense 6, strength 4, or some variant of that. And I was like, but I think it's a point per model, and it very quickly actually adds up when you're playing a Mordor army that is defense 5 and is quite hoardy normally. Suddenly becomes not very hoardy, but defense 5, and it's sort of like it almost becomes Numenor standard.
I think I'd be inclined to go for it on the captains, because fight value 5 is a world away. I mean that means you're drawing with elves.
You're beating all the good men.
Some of the minor good heroes as well. So some of the fight 4 Rohan heroes.
That's only 5 points to make an orc captain fight 5. Put him on a warg.
Yeah,
that's
a bargain.
Yeah.
I think on the basic foot troops, I think I'd rather have the strength in numbers with those things. Take some of those Morannons, get the strength 4 front line in there. I mean, we played about with some of this at doubles back at Slayer.
With the no might, many might.
No might, many might, that was good.
Yeah.
I think on the captains, yes. I think on the... and maybe on the shaman, although I've not really played
the shaman's an odd one. It decreases your strength by... It's a 5+ to cast, but decreases your strength by 1 for the entire battle, so you can keep doing it. And it's like, taking them down to strength 3 is decent.
But you're almost certainly... The thing is with the shaman, particularly with a Mordor shaman where there's nothing like Groblog, you're almost certainly going to go on turn 1...
Channel Fury,
2 points of will. Yeah. You need the other point of will to keep it up, and at that point you go, well, I'm done. So
I don't need this with the spell.
Exactly. Why spend the extra 5 points?
So overall, I think our idea is no there to upgrading the orcs, and just keep them simple as Mordor orcs. Call them Dol Guldur orcs if that fits your theme, but you don't need to upgrade them.
As always, with the caveat of if you want to do it because it's cool,
let's go ahead and do it. Yeah.
Just don't expect it to be the most competitive thing.
Yeah. So next up we got Bradley Hipster. He says, hello, what's your opinion on other Tolkien books becoming movies? Is there enough material? Well, I think there is plenty of material.
There is easily enough material. I mean, I'm a massive fan of Silmarillion and Unfinished Tales, and I love that content.
There is lots out there. Could it be made into a film? I think we've discussed this in the past. A very well done TV series would lend itself better to the Silmarillion and the Unfinished Tales than a film.
I think you'd almost be in a kind of a case of almost for a season. Yeah. You almost pick out a particular thread, a particular storyline. Yeah. You could almost have a season for kind of either the Doom of Túrin or the Children of Húrin. Yeah. You could have something about Bennett and Luthien. And
the story of the Silmarils with Fingolfin. That could be a season. Like, it'd be so cool seeing like him get so good and be drawn back down. There could be lots of very good TV series. Films, I don't think you'd be able to get across the scale of it in 2 hours, even if it was 3 films, 6 hours. You wouldn't have time for that character building.
It's like the idea of it, the comparable thing is putting the Bible as a film. Yeah. It's a collection of great stories, and it doesn't work as kind of a single piece to try and thread 2.5 hour or even 3, 4, 5 2.5, 3 hour stories along. I think you need something more drawn out. Yeah. Just like everyone's favourite Westerosi
yes, indeed.
Adventures.
Game of Thrones is a perfect example of how they've translated a very, very good set of books into a TV series. Going a bit haywire now, but
I think the only comparable that whenever I read the Silmarillion, there are 2 books I always compare it to, and that's the Bible and Herodotus's The Histories, which is written by a guy very, very early in kind of the histories is where the word history comes from.
Yeah.
But it's a very plodding, slow, methodical style.
Yeah.
And if you can get through it, it's full of great stories of epic battles and heroism. It's incredible.
And there's also a lot of nonsense.
There's an awful lot of nonsense, and it's the same with the Silmarillion.
Yeah. You gotta really be committed to going through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next question. It's from Wobchicker. Wobchicker.
My question is simple.
Oh God! Oh dear.
Snug, marry, avoid with the other 3 GBHL hosts. Which one would be which? Also, I'm not happy about the Resco Nesco pretending your desire to see him replace me. Perhaps we should duel to see who's the better irritating name. And then there's a thread about pistols at dawn and other things which
David Whittaker gets a bit eager to ask this question.
And and we probably
there are 5 with the same question saying he's thought to ask this question a month ago, but with Shag, Marry, Avoid. Shag, Marry, Murder.
Shag, Marry, Murder. Great. Okay.
So, what was you? Snug, Marry, Avoid. Probably marry Damien. He's got the big house.
He does have the big house.
He's got the big house and the collection.
He's the keeper.
Probably Snog Tom, as this video shows, avoid James.
So I guess I get 4 to choose from.
Yeah, you get all. You get the 3. You get 1 to just miss out.
Right. Okay. Well, who do I not want to pass judgment on? I suppose could I murder one of them? Can I Snog, Marry, Avoid and Murder?
Yeah, you can Snog, Marry, Avoid and Murder.
Okay. Difficult. I think I could Snog James. I think I'd let him hold me in his strong arms.
I'm worried about who gets murdered now.
I think I would. I think I'd go for the Marrow and Damien. I think.
Yeah, it's the house. The house takes it.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Gold digger all the way.
Damn right. I think I'd murder Tom. just because of that incident tournament with Glorfindel and Azog.
What was that?
I can't remember which tournament. It was one of the Stockport ones where you had to kind of like you had to have your generals fighting the middle.
Oh, right.
Glorfindel versus Azog, and Glorfindel just sits there spaffing all these dice rolls, just like 2s and 3s, and great.
Azog goes, great 3s. Yeah.
And I'd probably
avoid me.
I'd avoid you.
No, fair enough. I would avoid me too if I had the choice.
That's true.
Next up, we've got the Eilish Cola Bearable.
Bearable. Okay. Hey guys, what was your opinion on the King of the Dead? Nice guy, good to go out with a drink with.
Yeah.
Good laugh.
He can't hold his drink.
No, it goes straight through.
Yeah. In game, I think if he had Alfred,
he can have so much promise.
Yeah.
He can spawn so many hilarious moments when he works, but he works so infrequently.
So rarely.
Yeah. I mean, it's the zero might.
0 might, 6 roll, 3 fates.
And so he's a pretty tough nut to crack.
Yeah, he's courage 7. He will never run away or never fail to charge a terrifying monster. But it's the fight for 1 attack.
He doesn't contribute enough to 90% of games.
Yeah,
to be worth
for 100 points.
1 in 10 games, he'll walk up to a mummock and go, and it'll be great.
You'll go, yes, he paid for himself.
But
3 times over.
But the other 9 games, you look at them and go,
well, what my choice is that captain.
He can't
captain.
He can't contribute to the game with might, so he's got nothing that can boost there. He's basically a 1 attack guy. He's at strength 4 against most people's courage.
Yeah.
Average courage is these days kind of on most battlefields
4 or 5.
4 or 5. Yeah, so he's
5s.
He's about as good as a Rohan warrior.
Yeah, to wound. And obviously, models are probably gonna. You want him to be going into multi-wound models. Multi-wound models are like trolls and things. They're gonna have higher fight than him, so he's not likely to win the fight with no might to strike. Going into heroes, you need either a wizard immobilise or something for him to go into, and even then you have to trap it so he gets 2 chances. And most big things are going to have fate and might to resist those. So he falls down a little bit.
I think, like you say, if you throw an Alfred there for the extra cheese, he's got a bit of a chance of maybe having the might. But
he can strike up a little bit against some stuff.
But I think I don't think he necessarily has a competitive place.
No.
But we've seen him working really cool armies. I mean, Kieran Streets is an example of somebody who's taken into a few tournaments. You've had some really cool moments. I think it was the 3 Hunters and the King of the Dead and a load of army together. That's really cool to see.
Yeah. Next up, Ross Deagle says, spoilers, he's a massive git because he's posted a huge army list. Okay, my question for this week is an army list for a certain upcoming event. It's an all Easterlings list, so I'm already prepared for your disdain, because Easterlings are rubbish. Have a steer clear and hear it out. The event leaves it quite difficult to have heroes adding up to 250 points, and I want to try out Camul. Try Easterlings without Camul. That's a brave move. So he's taking a
bold strategy.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. Candish King with bow and chariot, and another one. An Easterling captain with shield, an Easterling war priest with armoured steed, 6 Candish horsemen, 12 Candish warriors, 6 Easterlings with bow, 6 Easterlings with shields, and 6 Easterlings with shields and pikes. That's 699 points, 40 models, 21 to breakpoint. I realise there is no monsters, however I access to strength 6 with the war priest and the chariot charge for knocking over other cavalry. The Candish Kings are banners for the Cand, including themselves, and a fight 6.
Okay.
Two Candish Kings on chariot, that's a scary...
The Candish Kings on chariot are ace.
They are amazing. Very good.
Unless they get killed in turn 1 by Felvis.
Yeah. Or Nature's Wrath.
Or Nature's Wrath. I think, my first thought on that is, I think, going back to the comments earlier about shamans in an army, I think I'd always go for a second shaman. And a war priest in this situation. I think Fury is very, very good. And I think having that 5-up save across the army, I think, as Ross mentioned, I mean, Eastlings aren't the most competitive. I think they need that boost.
Yeah, so maybe if the Eastling captain became an Eastling war priest, you'd have one on foot to lead the troops and have Fury, and the other one to then boost the Candish King to become strength 6.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
It does drop your might down to 6 in the army, so...
Maybe. I mean, it's 700 points, that's not a great deal. One person who I would definitely consider looking at is Amdur.
Amdur Blood of Blades, very, very strong.
Amdur mounted can just go nuts.
Yeah.
You just, I think Tom's gone on about him before.
Yes,
he can just sometimes have these games. Like
Right.
Lords of Battle,
is perfect for him, where he kills a hero and gets 2 might back.
Yeah, he just sits there just going, kill everything and get all the might and all your heroes are dying. And I think that's very, very useful. I think I like Candish Horsemen. I think they're great models and they're not bad in game. I'm not sure what the Candish Warriors themselves give to the army.
I guess it's Pierce and Strike.
Issue for me is it's loaded.
A fight for...
It's loaded defence 4 models that are just going to get shot down before you get there by a lot of armies. I would almost rather go for boost the numbers of Easterlings. Maybe use those points to boost the numbers of Easterlings a little bit, and maybe chuck in a few more horsemen. Maybe go to 8 horsemen. Spread the points out amongst Eastlings.
Keep the bows with the horsemen.
And maybe see if you
can
afford some Black Dragon.
Black Dragon upgrade.
Black Dragon upgrade.
Fight for on the pikes.
Don't need all of them. I think, like I say, just the pikes, and I think that's very useful.
In fact, yeah, that'd be a decent shot if you were to take the bows from your Eastlings, put them on the horsemen, so you get like the skirmishy horsemen.
Yeah, I think if you move away from having the bows on the Eastlings, and I think because I think your Candish horsemen as being kind of bow on if you can. I suppose the only thing with Candish horsemen is they're not prone to the you don't get the 50% or 100% rule.
No, you don't. No, that's true.
But if you can split the war bands so that maybe you might be able to divvy it up so you can go up to say 8 Candish horsemen. And then maybe like 12 shields and 12 shields and pikes or something like that, with a bit of jiggling.
Yeah. Cool. Well, look forward to seeing you in Stockport, Ross, and see how the army does.
I also thought about trying to make Eastlings work before, so I'm really interested to see how that goes.
Yeah. I think I am actually competing in Stockport as well for the first time. James is running it
for the first time in forever.
The first time in forever, I will be having laughter and fun at Stockport Farm.
Okay.
Next up we got Sebastian Avery. He says, "Hi guys, good answer on Elvish Chariots. Wow." So that was back in Legions of Middle Earth. I was listing off the sort of the profiles that were never released.
Yeah, I mean I've stopped listening to be honest because you read my questions. So.
Oh, did I? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm a bit upset now.
I'm sorry. That's just rushing ahead. I saw my name, so.
It's fine. No.
Okay.
Whatever.
My question is for Jamie. Unfortunately, I've not been able to support you on Patreon as I've not yet got a reliable source of income as I'm only 16. If I did in the future, would your precious Bell Company series be available to watch? Of course it will be available to watch, and will be to any patron who donates over $10 a month.
There you go, that's the easy answer.
Yeah, so you can take the next one.
From Jeremy Smith.
Remember, this is the guy you have to salute. That's his thing.
Speak Hello again, boys. Just got back from my second tournament and took first.
Well done. Congratulations.
Did I mention I took second at my first? First at your second, and second at your first. Very good.
Very good. So it's all downhill from now then?
Yeah, it can only get worse.
Yeah.
And I'm all ready for Nova. Are you? Well, I'm not.
He's not going. I am still sort of in the army testing phase. Is what these next 2 tournaments for me are going to be.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Friends. Anyway, Jamie, I never lie, or at least never to you. And James, you dare to disrespect my Yorkies. My wife named them, by the way. Bilbo looks like a poodle mutt mixed with some stupid Hobbit name.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic.
Wow. Good going, I guess.
And question. Okay, so when resisting the effects of a spell, can I choose not to spend a will out of my pool and instead use resistant to magic special ability?
We'll answer that now.
Should we answer that now?
Yep.
No.
No, resistant to magic kicks in when you've got no will in your store left.
Yeah. Or can I use will points to boost my resist roll like might points similar to a courage roll? Again, that wouldn't. So first of all, that wouldn't come into play with the resistance to magic because you couldn't have any will
points there, yeah.
And you can't use your will points to boost
your
a will roll.
Yeah.
I can only use might to boost it.
Will use as courage as a special circumstance. It's the only time that will can be used to boost a dice roll.
Yes.
Any other time, it has to be might.
Or can I spend a will point to resist, fail it, and then use my resistance to magic special roll? No.
No, you don't get 2 chances to resist a spell, unfortunately.
What do you think GBHL Tom will be bringing to Nova? Smiley face. JK, first stage of Smith signing off.
Oh God.
I don't know. Something rubbish.
Something terrible, and he'll do well with it and embarrass everyone.
Probably Azog and
just chaff Hunter Orcs.
Some chaff Hunter Orcs and maybe some Gundabads.
Yeah.
And he'll beat all you Americans up with it because it's Tom Harrison.
Tom Harrison, he can beat us with it as well.
It's ridiculous.
So I'll take this one now.
No, you won't.
Okay,
you got 2 in a row. I'm in 2 in a row.
Okay,
so, Resco. Eek, those armies planned for Nova sound as cheesy as cheese can get, like Stilton or something. I think a fine Gorgonzola could be delicious. Favourite unnamed captain model? I found a new love for the Grimhammer captain. Opinions on Shelob in game. Edit paid on Monday. Bring on Stockport. So, unnamed captains.
Favourite?
I've got one lined up already.
Yeah.
For this.
Is it Leroy?
This is Leroy.
So if we're talking about just the model itself,
okay,
not the profile. I think Rescanesco or someone last week asked us what's our favourite unnamed hero profile.
Okay.
And we both just blurted out Rivendell Knight Captain. Because he is by far the best.
Because Rivendell Knight Captain.
Because Rivendell Knight Captain, yeah. So favourite unnamed captain model itself?
I think for me, it's probably got to be the Rohan captain from the Commanders of Rohan set, which was released for War of the Ring.
Which one was that?
That's the chap who's kind of dragging an orc along the ground.
Oh, yeah.
He's just kind of ripped his throat out and he's dragging it out. He's going, guys, I'll just kill this dude. Do you want to have a look? It's beautiful model, really, really cool.
I think for me, just like flicking now like Rain Man through all the lists in my head, like, oh, I think I can find them.
I guess is the Mahood from the top of the Mummock technically a captain?
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, he's a very nice
damn good model.
The orcs aren't particularly nice. Although I do quite like the Blackguard captain with the Centurion helmet.
Yes, all right.
He's quite cool.
It's the Morannon orc captain who's kind of got like he's like Scully out.
He's got the skull and he's got a 2-handed weapon. Yeah.
He's quite nice as well.
The Galadrim captain, unnamed one, is quite nice.
Ooh.
The shouty one, is it him? Is like that? Is he like that?
Yeah. There's the kind of the one like Captain of Arnor.
Captain of Arnor,
yes,
yeah.
Love a good bit of Arnor.
And then Kings of Men aren't really that interested, like Gondor.
I'd say there's that Rohan captain. There's also the old limited edition Rohan captain.
The axe one.
Kind of the one with the axe like that.
Yeah.
I just think I converted to have a throwing spear.
Oh God.
Back when they were good.
Yeah. So yeah, opinions on Shelob in game. I think it takes a good player to get the good out of her.
She's a difficult nut to crack. Doesn't output as much damage as say a Spider Queen, but obviously she's very tough.
She's an assassin more than damage dealer, isn't she?
I think she's benefited a lot from the new
monster
rules.
Yeah,
I think that's really helped her because I mean it's just that single attack that goes in.
One dice. She's probably not going to wound what she is hitting. So being able to hurl something with strength 7.
Yeah.
Is very, very good because you're getting +4 inches. You're getting at least 5 inches, maybe 10 inches on your hurl. against a troop.
I think in most armies, I think I'd almost always go for the Spider Queen over her. It's an extra
points,
cost,
but you get the might. You're not going to fluff your dice roll.
The might, the broodlings,
and the sort of the instant impact you'll have.
Yes.
Yeah. Next up, we got Thomas Horatio. He says, "Hey GBHL, just wondering if is this number 85 or 86? Because you've marked it as 86. I think we've marked it incorrectly. I got confused by this when I was putting the image out on Patreon for the next episodes up, and I was like, wait, the last one I put on here was 83 or 84.
Can this one be 85 then?
This will be number 85 to make up for this last one being 86.
So we'll go 84, 86, 85.
Yeah.
So that'll get
a bit like Star Wars.
That'll get a little bit meta if people start to try and kind of watch them in order. 83, 84. Why is 85 referring to 86?
Yeah. Just travelling in time is what it is.
And that conversation will actually explain it. So
so they've just figured it out.
Context.
Yeah. This week is more of a suggestion than a question. Just maybe you guys should do left-handed content this week in the same way you've done the sourcebook weeks. So left-handed content was something that someone put up that they're a lefty, and would like to see sort of some left-handed content, because obviously we record with our right hand, we roll with our left. So if we were to mix it up one time, now I'm saying maybe we'll do that as a patron-only thing. So if you come support me on Patreon, I'll do a left-handed content. That's become a bit of a running theme now.
Good. Okay. Well, there's plenty of things you can do left-handed.
2 days ago, at the time of recording, it was International or National Left-Handed Day, and we didn't do anything for it. I think we put a post up on the GBHL YouTube channel page on Facebook.
I'm sure it was hilarious.
I'm sure it was awful. Next up, you've got a great name to pronounce.
KVWD van Wijdeven. I'm so sorry.
Wijdeven.
I'm so sorry.
Van der Wijdeven.
What do you think about the Balrog stats? Should I include it in a Moir army? Is it an independent hero or not? So, on the last one, don't believe it is.
It's not an independent hero, no, it can lead troops.
Didn't think so. Stats, and should you include it?
Stats, it's good.
We talked earlier about the King of the Dead.
Yeah.
And he's got no might.
He's got no might.
The Balrog, I think, has the same problem.
Yeah, it's 400 points of not much for your army besides the Balrog attack profile.
It's somebody who can move 6 inches a turn.
Yeah, that's his
and
big.
is so easily avoided. And all it takes is a dude with a shield or a wood elf spear just sat there getting in the way.
Yeah.
He's very difficult to kill. Please say I managed to kill him once in Contest Champions, which I never shut up about it whenever a Balrog comes up. But
yeah, he's as a general, he's not going to give away those 3 VPs unless the most unlikely of things happen. Hooray! He will probably bleed away 1 VP during the game. That's sort of inevitable, because someone will strike lucky and get a wound against him. So he's probably going to give away the 1 VP. And where he sort of falls down is that's 400 points that's not gaining you other VPs.
yes.
If you think about the sort of the scenarios you'd be playing, high ground, hold ground, domination, Reconnoiter, he's worth 1, and he's 400 points.
I think he's one of those really kind of upsetting examples of something that's so cool, looks awesome in the films, and it's such brilliant imagery in the books. And
in scenario play, he works perfectly. And that's what he was made for, but when he translates it into a points value match, he lacks what you need to win.
I mean, he's decent fun to have a laugh with, but it's one of those cases where I think you very much take him because you want to have the Balrog in your army, not because you want to be competitive.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing.
No. Next up is Sam Taylor. He says, "Hey guys, Jamie, I'm loving the Patreon content, great stuff. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I was wondering what you guys thought about the Palace Guard captain from the Thranduil's Halls list. Possible fight 7 with a spear. Seems amazing. I don't know what I'd rather take, him or Tauriel. Diddle-diddle-diddle."
I'm quite a fan of kind of the Palace, I suppose the Palace Guard in general.
Yeah.
But the Palace Guard captain, I look at, and I suppose like many unnamed heroes, you look at them and go, there's almost certainly a named hero who's just that little bit better.
Yeah.
And I think
it's the pecking order. That list has such good heroes in it that the unnamed heroes really don't get a look in.
I think given that elven armies don't get a lot of heroes in them anyway, I mean,
Yeah.
you were talking earlier about having your standard size elven army having like maybe 12 might, so that's generally 4 heroes.
4 heroes at 700 points.
And
even
so,
that's a bit of a push.
And so generally, kind of if you were to go for a pure, if you go for a pure Thranduil's Halls army, you're looking at that point at Thranduil, Legolas, Tariel. I mean, covering your point there, yeah, Tariel's really good. I think if you're going kind of in your pecking order, it's probably Legolas, Thranduil, Tariel.
Yeah. But the thing about it is that obviously those two, Legolas and Thranduil, now also have their big boosted versions.
Yes.
Which, if you're going big points, you might go, well, actually, I'll take big Thranduil and big Legolas and Tariel and take the 3 full warbands, which then offsets the small captains. So, do you want to hoard out, or do you want to?
It'd be interesting to see. What I haven't seen is, because I've seen like Damien and a few other people kind of taking a small number of Palace Guard, and a bit of everything. I'd be interested to see kind of like almost like a solid Palace Guard Thranduil led. Yeah. Maybe new Thranduil, the newer combaty Thranduil, choppy Thranduil, and maybe like that kind of fairly solid defence 6.
Defence 6 block of
fight 6 and fight 7. And you just go, well, go on, come at me. I'm gonna win most of the fights.
I'll grind these down. Yeah,
it'd be an interesting army to see.
Definitely. Next up, we got the AJ Gamer.
Thanks for answering my question last week. My question this week is: what are your opinions on Abrakan Merchant Guard?
So, Abrakan Merchant Guard, they're good.
They're very good.
They're very good.
Very good. I think if you're taking a Haradrim army, I think they're up there.
Should be in. They should be. Are they in part of the Serpent Sting? I think they might be.
Part of the
Serpent Sting, the 50%.
Ooh.
Now I don't have my books here. I've lent them out to my friend Harry, so I can't check them. I think they might be. I think
they are.
I think it's them Watchers, the regular warriors, and then they're what are they called? Serpent Guard.
Serpent Guard and
the other mounted versions of them. I think that's the Serpent Sting, and because they can go as part of that, I think it makes them even better.
Absolutely, I think the Abrakan Guard and the Golden King leading them, they're fantastic. I mean, the amount of damage they can have. I mean, being 5/4 is nasty enough.
5/4 is nasty enough. Where they got really good was that spears now support anyone, because they used to be amazing back in the old Lord of the Rings era, but where they struggled was that they had to go in by themselves because they were two-handed. Whereas now they can get spear supported and they can feint, so they are wounded on typically 4s or 5s, rerolling 1s.
So one of the, I can't remember, it might have been Charles Sims or something, who was looking at kind of Abrakan Guard with Serpent Guard behind. So you have the Abrakan Guard with the strength 4 with a +1 to wound because they're two-handed with the chop. And then you have the spear support of the Serpent Guard who are poisoned on top of that. And if you've got the Betrayer in there as well, making you rerolls. It's a horrible line to have to run on.
Yeah, it's like you hit it and then you go, oh god, I've been shot, right, we're finally in combat, I'm safe, oh god, I'm not!
If you're looking at, say, maybe an army of, let's say 40 models for the sake of argument, you've got 10 Abrakan Guard, 10 Serpent Guard, and 20 bowmen, you've got this shooting at you, and then you go, oh god, I've got to get into combat. But then you're dealing with that.
And most likely they're going to be Watchers, those, at least 10 of them. 10 with spear and bow. You hit the line anywhere, you're either getting 3 dice, or you're getting nasty chop and poison.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think you don't see, I don't know why you don't see that many Haradrim armies.
I think it's the unavailability of some of the troops, like Watchers are they out of production now?
I can't remember what's up on the website and what's not.
I have a feeling, but I'm always, whenever I write my Wood Elf list, Haradrim are the one thing that scare me the most.
Yeah.
And it's why, Rivendell Knights have become more popular, so they also scare me now. That's why Galadriel gets included in the list. The off chance I face sort of a 20 bow Haradrim list that's just spammed up, they'll beat me. I have no answer for it.
I meant to build one for years because I used to be a big fan of Haradrim back in the day, but I need to maybe look at that again.
It's always been one of the forces I want to pick up, but never actually go out and do. Was that my question? It was. No. You answered that? You asked that one.
I did ask that one.
Yeah, so me. Mark F, or 19 Mark F91. He says, hey guys, in your opinion, what is the worst sculpted SBG model? Not for mold lines and flash, just the overall look of it. Happy strategy battle gaming.
Ooh. Least favourite sculpt. I think probably I'm least a fan of some of the old plastic wood elf poses. I couldn't pick one, but they're quite flat and not very crisp.
Yeah.
I mean, you compare them to, say, I was putting together the Mirkwood Rangers recently.
You look at the difference of them.
Oh, they're such crisp detail, beautiful.
Like flowing ribbons and cloaks, and it just looks so cool in comparison.
Oh yeah, and
then you put them next to these stunted little
tiny
heads and tiny hands, and very monopiece.
Yeah.
I think I'd go with the Wood Elf Warriors myself. Like, I keep looking at them going, God, you're awful. I have certain ones that I just pick up and put back in the case when I'm picking out my army. It tends to be the high-fiving bowman.
I don't mind him actually.
High-fiving
bowman, I don't mind.
He's one who does something to make it into me. I like the one shooting up. I like the one. Oh, there's one that's drawing with the bow down. He's pretty awful.
He's pretty bad.
Or his bow is moulded onto the side of him.
I quite like spearmen, kind of like poking over the top spearmen.
Yeah, they're nice. That one.
But there's the kind of my least favourite one I think is super regimented sword to the chest.
Oh, him, the big mono piece. Yeah,
not the one with the big flowing cloak.
No,
the one that's just upright.
Yeah.
Like that.
I know who he is.
Yeah.
He's a bit bland, isn't he?
Underwhelming.
Yeah. Next up,
Ian
Marley, Banter, Captain Banter,
Captain Lord Banter himself.
Yeah.
Victoria Sponge is unbelievable. Correct.
We were talking about our favourite cake from the Jaffa cakes.
Of course. Especially with tea. I'm not very good with this loop thing. I've been missing question deadlines because of work and family stuff. Very understandable. Will a pre-order be required for a meat cheese that's returned
a redesolation
of Smog? I'm glad words.
The October tournament.
I'm glad we were going to a meat cheese. Last time it was Ace.
Oh, good. I am not too sure on this one. James is running the tournament and organising everything, so this would be one for him. If you just Facebook message him, I'm sure he'll answer you.
The real GBHL James.
GBHL James, not GBHL James. Although that's a double negative, so that makes you GBHL James. Not GBHL James.
Stop it. Move on to the next.
Not
question.
James Bond.
Stop it.
Okay. Next question from Matt Peterson. He says, "Hi guys, I'm thinking about buying a second pack of Knights of Rivendell. Good choice. And I also want to make a Gilgalad mounted. I'm a tad scared to do so because I don't want to ruin one of my knights, but I also really want Gilgalad mounted. Any tips or ideas?"
I've never seen Gilgalad mounted converted from a Rivendell Knight captain. I've always seen him converted from the twins. Yes, one of the twins.
Yeah. I know Owen's done a Gilgalad mounted.
Owen did one from Eladan.
Yeah.
The one with the sword held high in the air. I think he converted it into Aeglos, kind of extended, that kind of brought in the shaft, things like that, and a simple head swap. And that was fairly nice.
I think they're a good choice to do for just a simple head swap. So heads are not moulded onto their bodies, are they?
They're a bit of an odd one because you've kind of got the.
Oh no, they've got the weird. They've got three parts of their head, haven't they?
Yeah, kind of like you've got the middle bit, and then you've got kind of the bits to clip on either side, and you can either clip on
chest.
You can either clip on the helmet or you can clip on the hair.
Yeah.
So actually, I mean, you could almost do the guy with the flowing hair and just use that as Gilgalad's
head. Yeah.
With a little bit.
And then maybe change the. Well, even their spears are kind of elven bladey on the end.
Yeah, I think you want something to distinguish him from just a standard kind of captain version, but I mean that could be a good starting point.
Yeah. And also, any tips on this 700 point list? Gilgalad mounted with shield, the twins mounted with armour, Arwen mounted, 16 Knights of Rivendell. I see a problem. 4 heroes, 10 might, 20 walls total. Sorry for the long question. Now, unfortunately, this is quite a common mistake with the Knights of Rivendell. They are not part of that list. They are Elrond's households. They can only be led by Elrond, Lindir, and the captains.
As mentioned previously, Rivendell Knight captains are ace.
Yeah.
But those are the ones that have to lead them.
Yeah.
So you'd have to drop out probably
Arwen to start with.
Well, given that there's 16, you're going to need 2. So you're probably looking at dropping the twins for, I mean...
Actually, the twins are 140, 160, 180, so you 2 knight captains for the twins.
So drop out the twins, 2 knight captains.
2 knight captains would be just as good with the lances.
Yeah, I mean, they can balance out the lack of the slightly lowest heroic stats, but they are still pretty beefy. Arwen Mountain's not a bad option.
No. For 70 points in this list, probably that's the best you're going to get to keep with the idea of.
But I'd almost be tempted with that too. As much as I like the idea of Gilgalad mounted, I'd almost be tempted to see if you could squeeze in Elrond and Lindir. because
as the leaders to them, because you get the nice synergy then, don't you?
if you have Elrond and Lindir in there, I suppose you could maybe drop Arwen and the twins and you might be able to get them all in.
Yeah.
Because Elrond and Lindir have their great synergy where effectively you can have Elrond doing infinite numbers of Nature's Wrath. You do, I mean, you get the same number of might points as the two captains, although they're a bit more concentrated.
Yeah.
The other thing you also get with Lindir is the resistance to magic AoE, which is really cool, really nice.
Really cool, really tough to pull up effectively, I find. But it's a bonus that isn't there any other time.
Yes, yeah, it's not game breaking and it's not amazing, but it's a useful trick to have in the bag.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, we've got Jesse H.
Thanks again for answering my question. Next I want to ask about fighting ring rates. Ooh. If my hero has been transfixed and then charged, can I heroic strike in the fight phase to bring their fight value back up to a respectable level by adding d6? Now I believe it used to be the case that you could, however I think this has since been community FAQ that you can't.
Yeah. For our UK tournaments, well it used to be that you would apply any positives first, and then you'd be brought back down to fight 5.
So that's the way it is by the rulebook. I believe
it is. That's what it says for heroic strike as well.
So with heroic strike, if back when on the UK scene we did allow it to do it, you could go up to a maximum of fight 5 by striking if you were transfixed and had a high enough kind of fight value to begin with.
So get to that, yeah.
So essentially get halved. As I say, the GBHL. Unofficial community FAQ has written that. Yeah,
what it says now is that when you're transfixed, you can't call any heroics.
Yes.
But you can still use Might, Will, and Fate to resist spells, stop wounds, and boost your dice rolls.
Yeah. So if you're playing with the community FAQ that Damien has produced and kind of he works on that, then it's that way. If not, then yes, you can heroic strike up, but you'll get at most of fight value 5.
Yeah.
And then a second question, excluding the transfix query. When does the Knight of Umbar mimic the characteristics? It states at the start of the fight phase, same as heroic actions, however heroic strike does not happen until that combat is fought. Does that mean that the Knight of Umbar cannot claim the new heroic strike fight value? Thanks again guys, love your work, I very much appreciate this community support. Now that's actually an interesting one.
That is correct. Because at the start of the fight phase, he takes it, then you fight some other fight, come to this combat, then you strike up.
Interesting, I've not read it that way before.
And it also gets around sort of, let's say you have two heroes in a different combat, heroic strike, heroic combat, and then heroic combat, both of them then is successful, both go into it, he can't copy the fight value of the highest drop because it's not the start of the fight phase. So it is a nice way to get around the rule, is that you have something that is a higher fight, jump into him after the start of the phase.
And he then can't copy, so it has to be the start of the
phase. So you'd be in combat, you declare what you're copying, you do some combats, you come to him, then you'll fight with those stats.
Cool.
It's a good way around it.
And I suppose on that kind of we said, excluding the transfix query, but if he copies the fight value of a transfix model, I believe he takes the original fight value, doesn't he?
Yes, he does, yes. So let's say he was fighting the transfixed Aragorn, he would take Aragorn's 3 attacks base, plus 1 for charging, so 4, take the fight value, and well, you wouldn't take the strength, but...
So say for example you were against, say, I don't know, Aragorn and some elves, and you've transfixed Aragorn, but you're still matching fight 5, you then nick Aragorn's fight value, you're fight 6.
Yeah, you take their unaffected stats.
Cool,
okay. So he is very good. Nice. And nice ways to get around it as well. Next up is Larry Miller. It's been a long time with no question. Not got much painting done of late. What happened to number 85?
Well, this is 85.
This is 85. We said that earlier. You can blame
James' inability.
I think it was James last time.
Okay.
Over to you.
David Whittaker, part of the Nottingham Massive.
Yeah.
For models that look a lot like their actors, Last Light Elrond has a great likeness to Hugo Weaving.
That's true.
Which characters with existing models do you feel would benefit most from having another sculpt? E.g. I think Boromir could do with a decent version of himself on foot with his elven cloak and shield.
I think Gandalf needs another one.
Gandalf's got some
great
likenesses.
Yeah. Gandalf and Aragorn are fine. With another sculpt?
I think it'd be nice to have almost like a bare-headed Gimli. I know you got the one on the dead Uruk-hai.
Yeah.
But because obviously he's got the big bushy
beard. There is an on Helmty Gimli.
Which one's that? Oh, it's the Three Hunters.
The Three Hunters is where he's a bit of a weird pose. He's kind of like that.
Yeah.
But he's not got his helmet on there. That one doesn't sell it for me.
No.
But a good sculpt of unhelmeted Gimli would be a nice one. Who else? Well, the sculpts, I guess. Well,
I mean, all the hobbits are pretty. They're quite difficult because they're quite small scale.
yeah. So you sort of lose a little bit. You just sort of get the general gist of them.
I mean, they're quite old sculpts now. Some of them are like 15 years old. So I mean, maybe newer sculpts of those would have a bit of crisper detail on them. Although the original Bilbo, I think, is still very good.
Yes, yeah, very strong.
Ian Holmes?
Yes, yeah.
That's it. Some good candidates.
Of likeness to... Everyone's got a pretty decent likeness. They did a very good job of capturing the wetter aesthetic in the models.
Definitely.
And the actor's likeness. So, Boromir would be nice, having an elven cloak. If there was one. But yes, there's quite a few you can just paint up an elven cloak on him.
Although, I always felt that the Breaking the Fellowship Boromir was pretty damn good.
Yes, he's one of my favourite models.
And him and Breaking the Fellowship Aragorn, both brilliant sculpts.
Breaking the Fellowship was a fantastic fellowship set. Every single one, even Gandalf, even though he wasn't there for the breaking. But his Khazad-dûm one.
Khazad-dûm Gandalf's great.
Yeah. And next up we got J22, this is Jay Acharya, I think. James's, GBHL James's doubles partner that he won the tournament with.
Of course.
So I still blaspheme on the channel as being a shoddy run tournament that completely did us over, but never mind. Hey guys, firstly just want to put it out there that James, us Liverpool supporters, are not deluded. Watch at the end of this season. No, if you think we're coming top 4, you are deluded. Sorry.
That's
from a Liverpool fan. We are not finishing top 4. Question for this week. Better hero, Glorfindel mounted with his armour of Gondolin, or new Thranduil mounted?
New Thranduil mounted. I've seen
both defence 7. Both fight 7, 3 attacks, 3 wounds. 3. I guess it's resistant to magic versus Blade Wrath, isn't it?
Blade Wrath.
Blade Wrath wins out. To be fair, I was going to swear then, I had a terrible game.
I think
with him.
For me though, Glorfindel, I've just got this. Every time I've played with or against Glorfindel, he's consistently underwhelming.
Yeah.
There's just some. I think it's like the kind of.
Yeah, I think I played against him.
Lack of spear or shield and things like that, and he just.
I always forget he's not got a shield. Yeah.
There's just something missing about him, and it's just.
He's a very good hero, and his stat line should be amazing. But yeah, there is something that's just. Maybe if you had a 12-inch ribbon horse.
Maybe if you had a 24-inch flying moving horse like he does in War of the Ring.
It's not War of the Ring. That's going to go crazy. Next up, also, what are your thoughts on the Dark Marshal? What sort of army does he complement with his banner we roll to warriors? Thanks for all the great content.
You know what I'm going to say.
Does it begin with S and end with Haid?
Maybe. I used to, about 5-6 years ago now, when I first ran a Shade. I ran him with, a Shade, the Dark Marshal, and Durbers, and then 72 goblins, 24 of which were prowlers with shields.
Back in the crazy, wild days of Legions.
That was great days, good times. And so you essentially had a battle line that was, alright, it was only goblin prowlers, but you couldn't win a combat near them because you had a Shade there, which was cancelling out your fight value and your dice rolls, and then if I did manage to not roll the 6, go, okay, I'll re-roll that dice.
Yeah, 3 dice versus your 2, I've got higher fight, effective.
And then you get trapped in there with the prowls, things like that. So yeah, I think Dark Marshal really complements Shade really well.
The aura is the same, so where your Shade is, your Dark Marshal is, and they will just boost each other.
And if you get into a game where kind of you need to split as well, it means you can kind of keep some supremacy in some ways in different parts of the battlefield.
Like, this area have high fight value, this area has more dice.
I mean, it's nowhere near as effective as the 2 combined, but you can still split up and spread out a bit better than just having the Shade. Other than that, any Horde army, I think, any army with a lot of models where they're quite low fight value, where you're probably going to need to re-roll dice, I think works well. Yeah.
Next up, we've got Patrick Bill.
From Patrick then, hey fellas, I pressed this one on the One Ring, but I haven't heard anything yet, so I'm sending it along. I built a 500 point Thranduil's Halls, which I'm pretty happy about. I think it's reasonably optimised. I don't have a lot of players near, so I haven't gotten many games in, but it's done alright so far. Anyways, I was thinking about how I would expand the list to higher points. At 500, my list is Thranduil with bow, 4 Mirkwood elves with shield, 4 Mirkwood elves with bow, 2 Mirkwood elves with glaive, 2 Mirkwood rangers, Legolas, 4 Mirkwood elves with shield, 4 Mirkwood elves with bow, 2 Mirkwood elves with glaive, 1 Mirkwood ranger, Tauriel, that's 26 models, 9 might, 16 shots. Now, the first question I have there then is I believe you can't take the old Mirkwood wood elves. Oh, are they
they're the new ones. They're the
the
defense 4, not defense 5. They're the mid range between rangers and Isengard. Yeah.
Right, I've not really seen them in action much.
Yeah, Damien's championing them this year. They're effectively, just think of them as Galadrim. The same points.
Were they in his army that took 1 goblin off the board?
Possibly.
Oh dear, that would be embarrassing if he's championing them.
Yeah.
Had to get that in there.
Yes, they would have been there. They are effectively the stat line and points of a Galadrim.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Glaives are the spears that are also
spears
blades.
can be elven blades, yeah. Okay. At 500 points, it's 26 models, 9 might and 16 shots. I think having 16 shots is very, very nice.
Yes,
really good.
Nice use of the heroes to negate the bow limit as well. He goes 4-4-2 to keep their bows as well. 4, 8, 10 divided by 3 rounded up. Yes, so they have 4 bows there, and because they're led by Thranduil, the rangers' bows don't count.
Yeah.
So that's a nice way to break the bow limit and still keep a good fighting line.
Yeah. I think 26 models of 500 points is all right for an elite force.
Yeah.
I think for me, you're very focused on the heroes, very much there. They have to do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Now, my concerns as a Wood Elf player are that your heroes don't have elven cloaks. Tauriel comes with one. Thranduil has to pay for his in this list, and Legolas here doesn't have armour or elven cloak.
Yes.
So defense 4, strength 2 bows, he will go down quickly.
Yeah.
Even shooting through 2 ranks, without him having armour, it'd even be worth a heroic accuracy to try and pump the shots into him.
I'd be tempted to drop that Mirkwood Ranger.
That lone one in Legolas as well.
One in Legolas as one, and give Legolas the bow and armour.
Yeah.
I'd rather have 1 less model and have Legolas guaranteed alive.
Shooting 3 every time.
Shooting 3 every turn is much more worth it.
Definitely.
Scaling up, I mean...
We'll throw down. This is proposed one.
So, potentially at 700 then is quite fair and substantially rewritten, I guess.
Yeah.
So Galadriel, Lady of Light.
Good choice.
Decent choice, yeah. Thranduil with bow, armour, elven cloak, 2 Palace-guard with spear, shield, 1 Mirkwood elf with bow, Legolas with armour, elven cloak, as we said, we'll probably definitely try to squeeze that in at 500.
He's got the same warband.
Same warband there.
And repeated with Tauriel.
And yeah, so it's 4-4-2-2 essentially with the shield, bow, glaive, rangers.
Yeah.
So slight increase in model count, goes up to 31 models, 12 might, 18 shots, broken at 16. I think Galadriel, Lady of Light, really helps in kind of like a very low defence army like this.
Yes, yeah. Well, you capitalise on your strengths because you go, right, now I can shoot you without the worry of being shot myself.
I think I'm never sure about these kind of 31 model small armies for 700 points.
For 700 points, it does feel rather small. I think mine for Nova caps out about 40. And that's got some good elites here. I think it's got 6. Is it 6 or 2? Either 6 or 4 guards of the Galadrim Court. I think a sentinel and a banner, isn't there?
But I think that's the price you pay for having someone like Galadriel in there.
Yes, yeah. Well, my one's got the magic Galadriel, who's more expensive.
Yeah.
So I think it's available. I think it's just these troops are expensive. Mirkwood Rangers 14 points a pop, and Palace Guard 16. That's where the sort of it drops it from being 40 to 30 because obviously then Thranduil can't take the full warband.
I don't know. I'm not sold on the Mirkwood elves. They're great models. They just, again, the profile's a little bit underwhelming for them.
Yeah, just Galadrim.
Yeah.
Let's see, what do you all think? I like the idea of fitting in 2 guards, but I could get 4 Mirkwood elves for the 2 of them. I think that would be a better shot. Capitalise on your strengths. The fight system is good, but maybe the numbers would be better. Agreed, having 2 extra models is handy. I also wasn't sure on the elven cloaks for Legolas and Thranduil, since Galadriel has blinding light, maybe not necessary. It is for magic.
Yeah. Getting
blasted or being transfixed and compelled and moved around.
All it takes is somebody kind of going, okay, well let's pull Legolas 3 inches forward, fell beast into him, dead, take him off.
Yeah. I could get an extra if I dropped them. I'd say keep your heroes safe. That extra off won't be worth them.
If you're going to drop anything, drop the armour on Legolas.
Yes. Yeah.
I think the Elven Cloak, I'd always take the Elven Cloak over armor.
Yeah, if you got a choice between the two of them.
Yeah.
Sorry for the long post, and sorry Jamie for 2 lists in one post. That's alright, he read it out. I pushed this to the DCHL to keep up the jousting. I'm in the US, but I was a first age subscriber, so my loyalties are torn. Good luck at Nova, and thanks. Cheers. Well, thank you for the good luck. We shall find out in about... God, it's like 3 weeks' time.
4 weeks, something like that.
That's grim. Oh, we're on to our final question, and we've been going for 1 hour, so that's good, guys. It's from TK. He says, I'm over in Canada. Hope I made the time limit, which you did. Just wondering if you guys play Fantasy or 40k at all. Would be interested in trading some of those models for Lord of the Rings models. I used to play 40k back in... What edition is it in now? Is it in 8? No,
I've lost track.
I think it's 7th. I think I played it in 5th edition and then briefly in 6th. And then the Imperial Guard army changed horrendously from being a very foot troop based to suddenly being very armour based. So I just sold up. And Fantasy, I've had many armies over the time. I've currently got Bretonians, but I've also got a birthday present. Age of Sigmar from this one, which
it's shiny.
It's shiny, which I will get painted up and probably do a banter up on the channel with at some point.
Very fun game. I'm playing something like that. I played a game with my housemate Craig the other day. Played against. I just want to get this out against the kind of Craig, very very good Warhammer Fantasy player of the old edition. Yeah. And
he plays in ETC.
Plays ETC. Just come back from there.
Prague. Did very well there. Won the Ashes.
Yeah, very 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 good player. And then he played his first game with both of our first games with Age of Sigmar. And he played with his lizards, I played my Empire, and I absolutely smashed him.
Oh, good job.
So I'm retiring from Age of Sigmar on that.
I played once, beat Craig.
100% win record.
Yeah, versus ETC opponents.
Yeah, that seems legit. But no, I really like this more Age of Sigmar. I think it's really good fun.
Yeah.
40k, I've got a couple of armies, some Alpha Legion and some Imperial Guard that I've got kicking around. But again, not played in quite a long time.
Yeah. So, I've finally got the white off my face now. The glare.
The beautiful basking glow of the computer.
Indeed. So, I hope you all enjoyed having not GBHL James with us this week. As ever, be sure to comment, like, share and subscribe.
I can't.
Support your Hobbit hobby. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter.
I can do the next bit.
Pledge to me on Patreon.
And happy strategy battle gaming.
Hooray. Awesome.